Okay, welcome back. Hello again, g'day. I'm circling back. Some of you will get that. To what I was saying the other day about things that they don't teach us. Bridget come up with some good feedback. So yeah, of course, the parents play a crucial role in educating your children. We've got to take an active role in teaching them things that we know they don't learn in school. You know, I gave an example the other day about the education system and what we could do. For example, changing tyres, teaching us practical things that we can use in our everyday lives, which really doesn't happen. Another example I thought of was relationship studies. Now, what is more important, for example, in life than the ability to have healthy and good relationships, not just with our families, but also with our friends and potential partners, or when we have them, girlfriends, boyfriends, later to become husbands and wives. If not for our parents and family members and influencers to teach us how to relate not only to other people but with the world and with ourselves, there's a big void there. So how many people can you think of, including yourself? I've certainly had bad relationships in the past, unhealthy ones, and wouldn't we all benefit from a concerted effort to teach our growing children everywhere that, hey, there's a subject about relationships. Wouldn't that be a good idea? But in the meantime, we got to teach them ourselves. Now, I know Kat and I certainly do speak to her daughter Alyssa a lot about life and about struggles and what we're going through, as most of us do. And we make a point in trying to give her real world advice and knowledge and to help her go through things. We talk about things that are not conventional sometimes, but they should be. They should be conventional. It should be normal to talk to, our children, stepchildren, children, nephews, nieces, teenagers, even adult children, and communicate with each other to help us through this tough world, because Lord knows it ain't easy. Things we don't get taught, things they don't teach us. What do I want to speak about in particular today? COVID? Let's go to COVID, shall we? Okay. Yeah, I believe COVID exists. Do I think it was from a bat in Wuhan? No, I don't, personally. I think it was probably made in a lab. And I think China, definitely. You can call it the China virus because it comes from China. It's not racist to say that. The Spanish flu, back in the early 20th century. Is that racist to call it the Spanish flu? No. The China virus. These are questions. How did it get here, really? How dangerous actually is it? I won't go into how I come to that form of opinion. I won't bore you, but if you're interested in it, look it up for yourself. Look up. Why in 2015 did Obama give a lab in Wuhan, was it $5 million? A grant? Hey, who knows? There are dots to be connected. There are questions to be asked. Back to practical stuff. COVID. I think it particularly is dangerous to our elderly citizens, the old folks, and particularly people who are not only old but also with pre-existing illnesses. That's where COVID has gotten people. A 99.9% factor that it doesn't kill people and doesn't affect people. That's a big number. So why are we shutting down and locking down all places around the world, using dodgy science at best, when it's a 99.9% recovery and non-mortality? Good question. I think so. I really do. One other thing I want to talk about COVID before I move on is this. It's really easy to get emotional about topics. Take a look at any Facebook thread, Twitter thread. People are running hot on emotions. A lot of people, myself, have been guilty of that. We do it as human beings. We react emotionally instead of considering the facts, or finding the facts, then considering them, and then making an opinion based on that. So that's what I do. COVID is a pandemic. However, if you look at the death figures for yourself, you will find that the overall death figures from around the world, and also in countries in particular, such as Australia, US, Britain, Spain, wherever, the official death figures from 2020, the year of the pandemic, were actually less than the overall death figures from 2019, the year before. Do you want to mull on that for a moment? Same with 2018, 2017. The overall death records around the world are completely on par with previous years, even less than last year. So, how is that a pandemic if that is the fact? It's a question I pose to you. Now, if you care enough, even to be emotional about what I'm just saying, I ask you, go look at the figures, and then when you find what I'm saying is true, then will you question, is it a pandemic? Just something to think about. Back to the education system. My experience, I did go to university, I think it was 2009, 10, and I studied psychology for a little while. And it didn't take me all that long to see what a crock of shit I thought it was. The only thing I got taught in my 10 months studying psychology that I actually thought, that's pretty cool, was one simple fact. As this. Interesting, isn't it? Hegemony. That word, I hope I pronounced it correctly, is where in all shopping centres, right? Just stay with me, I'm going in this direction, but it's all ties in. Shopping centres around the world, in the Western world particularly, they all have white ceilings, white roofs, and white floors. Now, they made it this way back whenever it was. They made it this way on purpose it affects our, I don't know exactly how it is scientifically, but in our brain, psychologically, when we go into a place and it's white ceilings and white floors and it's a big place, it does disorientate us. Have you noticed that about yourself? I certainly do. I get lost in shopping centres real easy. But it's interesting to note that that's actually made on purpose. And the reason why is to make us lost, so we walk into different stores and go, oh, look at that shiny thing. Oh, you're lost, but you see your store and you go, the whole point is to spend more money than you intended to spend. That is simple, right? Is it genius? Is it sneaky and conniving? Is it immoral? I'm not one to make those judgments right now and right here. But that's what I learned in my brief time studying psychology. But after that, I realised it was a bit of a circle jerk there at La Trobe, and a lot of people talking crap. And I thought, nah, it's not for me. So, where are we going for time? 8 minutes. Probably going too far now. I'll come back another time and talk about, what am I going to talk about next time? Different things about what we weren't taught, things we weren't taught on purpose, and the after effects of that and the result of that. We'll talk a little bit about suicide and mental health, something I'm extremely passionate about. And there was one other thing. Okay, we might even delve into history, because unbeknownst to me, I didn't realise I was such a history buff, but many years ago when I started seeing things the way I saw them, I thought, I'm gonna go outside the box here, because I feel dumb, I feel ignorant. I actually had those feelings. I felt quite depressed for many periods back in the day, and one of those reasons was I just felt like I didn't fit. I was in a real crappy headspace. Hey, we all get there. And that was my reasons for starting to look outside of the norms to get my news sources and alternative news. I used to subscribe to magazines, look at internet sites, and just investigate things that became of interest to me. And boy oh boy, when you dig, you find things and you keep on digging. It's amazing what you can find. So I guess in my own way, I want to share things with with anyone that's interested. And we'll leave it at that for today. So, peace out, folks. Thanks for getting this far. I'll be back.